The sun burned brightly over Egypt. Golden palaces shimmered beside the mighty Nile River. Music echoed through the royal halls. And at the center of it all sat Cleopatra, the powerful queen of Egypt. Beside her was the greatest soldier of Rome, Mark Antony. Once Antony had been known as a fearless warrior, a leader respected across the Roman world. But now, many believed he had fallen under Cleopatra's spell.
Antony.
Far away in Rome,
Egypt.
People whispered that Antony had forgotten his
Cleopatra.
duties, that he cared more for love than for power. One day, a messenger arrived from Rome. His face carried troubling news.
Your wife Fulvia has died.
For a moment, silence filled the room. Antony lowered his head. Yet before he could fully absorb the news, another message arrived. Rome is in turmoil. Octavian Caesar demands your return. Antony knew he could no longer remain in Egypt. Duty was calling him home. Cleopatra looked at him carefully. Her voice was calm, but sadness hid beneath her words.
Must you leave so soon?
The affairs of Rome cannot wait.
Cleopatra turned away, trying not to reveal her emotions.
Then go, and let Rome keep what Egypt must lose.
Though Antony loved Cleopatra, he departed for Rome. And as his ship disappeared beyond the horizon, Cleopatra stood watching from the shore, wondering whether he would ever return. Back in Rome, the political situation grew more dangerous every day. The Roman world was ruled by three powerful men: Mark Antony, Octavian Caesar, and Lepidus. But distrust had begun to poison their alliance. Octavian greeted Antony with a cold smile. "Rome has missed you." Antony replied firmly, "Then let us speak of Rome and not of old grievances." To strengthen peace between them, a marriage was proposed. Octavian's sister, Octavia, would become Antony's wife. Many believed the marriage could unite Rome. Antony reluctantly agreed. Soon, a grand wedding took place. The people of Rome celebrated, and for a brief moment, peace seemed possible. But far away in Egypt, Cleopatra learned of Antony's marriage. The news struck her like a blade.
The Roman leader has married Octavia.
Cleopatra's eyes narrowed. Her anger erupted instantly.
He married another woman?
"Yes, my queen." Cleopatra paced through the palace, trying to hide her pain. But beneath the anger, her heart was breaking. Meanwhile, the peace in Rome did not last. Old rivalries soon returned. Tension between Antony and Octavian grew stronger. Every meeting became colder. Every conversation became more hostile. Eventually, Antony made a decision. He left Rome and returned to Egypt. When Cleopatra saw him again, the distance between them vanished. The love they shared burned brighter than ever. Antony took Cleopatra's hands.
No power in Rome can keep me from you.
Cleopatra smiled, for the first time in many months. But their reunion would come at a terrible cost. In Rome, Octavian saw Antony's return to Egypt as an act of betrayal. The rivalry between the two men was no longer political. It was personal. And as armies gathered, the Roman world moved slowly toward war. The greatest conflict of their lives was about to begin. The Roman world stood on the edge of war, and the friendship between Mark Antony and Octavian Caesar had completely collapsed. Neither man trusted the other. Neither man was willing to surrender power. And soon, the greatest armies of the ancient world began to gather. Across Rome and Egypt, soldiers sharpened their swords. Warships filled the harbors, and everyone knew that a final battle was approaching. Antony stood beside Cleopatra, looking out across the sea. His commanders urged him to fight on land, where his army was strongest. But Cleopatra wanted to support the battle with her fleet. Antony listened to her advice and chose to fight at sea. Some of his generals were deeply worried. One of them spoke carefully.
This decision is dangerous.
But Antony had already made up his mind.
The battle shall be fought upon the sea.
Meanwhile, Octavian prepared his forces with great patience. Unlike Antony, he remained calm and calculating. He understood that one mistake could decide the fate of empires. Soon, the two great fleets met near Actium. The sea became crowded with warships. Thousands of soldiers waited nervously, and the future of Rome would be decided here. Then, the battle began. Trumpets sounded across the water. Arrows darkened the sky. Warships crashed into one another, and the sea echoed with the sounds of battle. For hours, neither side gained a clear advantage. Then, suddenly, something unexpected happened. Cleopatra's ships turned away from the fight and began sailing from the battlefield. Antony saw her fleet retreating. For a moment, he could hardly believe his eyes. Then, overcome by emotion, he made a fatal decision. Instead of continuing the battle, he followed Cleopatra. His fleet fell into confusion, his soldiers lost hope, and Octavian's forces seized the advantage. The battle was lost. The defeat at Actium changed everything. Octavian now controlled most of the Roman world. Antony and Cleopatra returned to Egypt, but the shadow of defeat followed them. Every day brought worse news. Cities surrendered, allies abandoned them, and Octavian's armies continued moving closer. Yet Antony refused to surrender.
I have faced defeat before, and I shall face it again.
But deep inside, he knew the end was approaching. Soon, Octavian invaded Egypt. The final struggle had begun. As the fighting intensified, a false rumor spread through the city.
Cleopatra is dead!
The news shattered him. The woman he loved more than life itself, gone. His strength disappeared. His hope vanished. Overwhelmed by grief, Antony made a tragic choice.
I cannot live without her.
Believing Cleopatra dead, he fell upon his sword. Mortally wounded, he lay dying. But then, the terrible truth emerged. Cleopatra was still alive. When she learned what had happened, her heart broke. Antony was carried to her. Weak and bleeding, he looked into her eyes one final time. Cleopatra held him tightly. Tears streamed down her face.
Do not waste your sorrow on me. Remember our love.
Moments later, the great Roman general breathed his last, and Mark Antony was gone.
Antony and Cleopatra is a tragic play written by William Shakespeare around 1606-1607. It explores how emotional imbalance, unchecked passion, and the conflict between love and duty can lead to catastrophe.